Whew. Things are getting weird this season of The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is our weekly recap of the show, but as you know, as you can see, I'm still not in our studio, but I hope you appreciate that I'm taking time at any point during this vacation, getaway, whatever you want to call it, to create this recap. And shout out to our King Scars for holding us down. Shout out to our monthly subscribers here on the channel, our channel members. If you would like to become a member of the channel, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. But as always, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. And I appreciate you all being patient while I get these recaps out to you when I can. But let's get into a countdown and then let's get into this recap because I have a lot of thoughts and I don't know about Real Housewives of Potomac. Although I thought they brought it at BravoCon and I was like, we have a really stellar cast of women that can bring it, unlike what we were seeing on the current cast of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But based on what we're getting this season, it's becoming a little too problematic that it's not enjoyable to watch anymore. And a lot of you have been saying this for the last couple of seasons, but the more I watch this, the more I kind of dissect the relationships and the lack of relationships and the emphasis on meanness at any cost. It's not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable to watch, but thank God for Karen Huger because she makes it enjoyable to watch. Let's get into this recap and then we will talk more. All right? Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Let's get into this countdown.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
The lighting, darling, the lighting. Look, again, I'm not in my studio, so the lighting is not going to be perfect, but we're going to make do with what we have. But we have a beautiful live Christmas tree behind us. Happy holidays. I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to let us know how you would rate this week's episode from 1 to 10 and your thoughts on the episode. Shout out to our replay crew. And as always, shout out to our King Scars for holding us down anytime that we go live, anytime that we have a live premiere, anytime that we are having a video posted. This weekend, I posted quite a few different videos, short content, long content on multiple platforms. So be sure to follow us on those platforms. Everything can be found at TheKempire.com. All right, so let's get into this episode. At the top of this episode, we have Nneka picking her husband up from the airport because he's a traveling doctor. And, they have those periods of time where he's traveling and then he comes back. One of their storylines is that they're working on trying to have a baby. She says during this scene that, during his time of being home, she will be ovulating. All right. And he says, you're always ovulating. And she's like, well, no, I'm not. And you should know that as a doctor. Because I know a lot of people have feelings about Nneka and everything right now, we haven't really dissected their relationship or dissected, he's a good looking man. Come on. We haven't, I think I may have mentioned that before. But every time I look at him, I'm like, oh, good looking. Very good looking. All right. Anyways. So, of course, the conversation about Dr. Wendy, her family, the family association. So for me, the fact that her in-laws know the Acefos, so on some level, they do know each other. I'm assuming that they don't know each other enough to be like, oh, we're friends, but they know each other within the community. But there's definitely a direct family connection. And Nneka is accusing Wendy's sister Ivy of calling her family, her in-laws, to complain about Nneka using Wendy's name within the community, that she's going to be on the show. Let me just point something out, because they're not going to break this fourth wall, specifically in Potomac, because we've heard this before, that people want to be on the show. Some people are desperate to be on the show. It doesn't matter how much money you have. People want to be on the show, okay? So they will do anything to be on the show. They will even say, well, my family knows Wendy's family. So I'm thinking, and we might not get this clarity until Wendy does an interview or Nneka does an interview or we get to the reunion, where they will talk about what exactly is Nneka saying that Wendy's family is saying about her. Do I doubt that Nneka may have been going around town saying, well, my family knows Wendy's family, and maybe that got back to Wendy's family and they're like, don't be using my name to try to get on this show? Maybe. But I know what a lot of you have been saying, that you're disappointed that the two Nigerian women are being pitted against each other, and you think that it's a plot that Todd set up for the BS. Well, no, the person here may not be Todd. It might be one of the Green-Eyed Bandits. And it's so obvious when you're watching these scenes that you can see the very divided group, but you can also see that these women, no matter how they feel about the person, they're always going to allow that feeling. Like if they don't like that person, even if it doesn't make sense, they're always going to ride with whatever is against that person. And over here, we don't do that. That's why every other week I'm like, oh, I kind of like that person now, based off of the week, because we're sensible people. No, look, whatever. But that's the thing. And I feel like Gizelle, Robyn, Mia, look, can't go by Mia, but Gizelle and Robyn, because they don't like Candiace, because they don't like Dr. Wendy Estefo, no matter what is said about them negative, they will always ride with that. I.e., that story about the woman who said that she had an affair with Chris and she had some sort of AB right before. But we already told you, we didn't believe the story. We never even reported on the story. And this is why I don't even want to talk about it now. I didn't report on Gizelle and Robyn talking about this on their podcast behind a paywall and talking about how I believe it. Gizelle did an Us Weekly interview talking about how, well, I believe it. It makes a lot of sense. And, I talked about her husband last season, which for me, this woman coming out and saying, sidebar, is she now saying that Gizelle put her up to it? I don't believe this woman at all. Would I be surprised if Gizelle put her up to it? No. But I also don't. She has no credibility, so I'm not going to take anything that this woman says with anything. She has no weight here. But she's come out and said it was all a lie. Duh. Nothing that she said originally. And look, we report on speculation all the time, but a lot of times those speculation has some weight to it. This woman had no weight to it. She didn't even sound clear, or she sounded inebriated or unwell. I still haven't decided which one. So that came out in the last few days. So I wanted to talk about it here because I'm not going to do a separate video to talk about it because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Moving on. Well, not moving on. So Nneka is talking about this rumor and things like that. And she also mentions that I didn't realize it, that Happy Eddie and Ike went to college together. And apparently they were Facebook friends. And Eddie unfollowed Ike. I didn't see a big deal with that because if there's issues that Wendy is finding out about, I wouldn't be surprised why her husband would unfollow you. Your wife is spreading these rumors, based on what we heard, your wife is spreading rumors about us being Osu. Yeah, I would unfollow you. I just don't love it at the end, Eddie, that you just didn't own it. You know what I mean? That you just didn't own it. But I guess you have to run with the narrative that you guys don't know these people. Look, there are plenty of people I know some of you use Facebook and it's just your family and your friends. But there is a sector of folks that have I know there are a bunch of people. I have to say, I've been really cleaning up my Facebook. It's I don't know you. I haven't talked to you. Or even people I have known. I was I haven't talked to you in years. Why are we Facebook friends? Unfollow. And it's not a big deal if you unfollow someone. It's not like you threaten their life. It's not like you slept with their partner. You know what I mean? It's an unfollow. Get over it. It's not a big deal. But they made it a big deal by just not owning it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So they mentioned that. And apparently Nneka wants to run with the idea that Eddie doesn't run his household, and apparently Wendy does. Okay. I mean, I kind of get the same vibe from you between you and Ike, Nneka. Just saying. But look, I don't judge people's relationship dynamics. I'm sure, and we've seen it with Eddie and Wendy, that there are moments where he has to reel her in. And I'm sure there's moments where she has to reel him in. I never got the vibe that Wendy controls Eddie. I never got that vibe. Who knows? Who knows? But some of you were like, and what? So what if she does? I control my husband. I am the neck. I control the head. Some people's dynamics are like that. I can't relate gay. Sorry. All right. Gizelle and Robyn decide to have a lunch. I have to say this. I feel like Gizelle and Robyn's scenes this season are so pre-produced. They heard the criticism. The producers have heard the criticism from the audience that these two ride too hard for each other. They've got to break this up. They've got to, call each other, pull each other to the carpet like Gizelle does for everyone else. But it's so obvious. It's so obvious that Giselle's trying to do it, but she's doing it with kid gloves. She's not doing it the same way that she did it for other people, with the maliciousness and the sauce that she loves to put on things. She's not doing it the same that she does for other people. But some of you might say, well, Kempire, that's our good friend. Of course she's not going to drag her. Yeah, but it's feeling forced. It doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel real. All right? So they sit down for this lunch, and Gizelle brings up the fact that Karen wants to have a conversation with Juan because, Karen is hosting this whole pickleball situation, and apparently Juan is going to come. Because they start talking about Juan, they talk about how Juan yelled, according to Gizelle, yelled at her when they were in Atlanta for the Reasonably Shady live show. Robyn says he didn't yell at her. But here's the thing. We have to remember, it was just last season where Gizelle had accusations about someone's husband and made it seem like this huge deal. She made it seem like it was the end of the earth. She made it seem as if I need to report him. She made it seem like, oh my God, there might be a problem. So she's trying to do a similar situation here, but she's doing it again. She's sugarcoating it. She's sort of putting it out there. Well, he yelled at me. If that had been someone else yelling at Gizelle, we would be talking about a completely different scenario that she is going to paint it as. She would have added so much sauce. We would be drowning in the Gizelle sauce of it all. But they're just laughing it off. He yelled at you. The way that Juan acts and it's like very anger management. So a little bit of the way that Juan acts, if he was really truly acting that way with Gizelle, I do believe that it was a lot more disrespectful than Gizelle wants to make it out to be. But I really don't believe that even happened. Anyone else? Do you believe that really happened? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. So Robyn, of course, because she does not like Dr. Wendy Estefo, she got that information from Nneka last episode, so she wants to run and tell her green-eyed bandit brethren. And of course, Giselle's like, oh, I believe it. And what makes you believe this rumor, Gizelle? Just because you don't like Dr. Wendy Estefo? You know what I mean? Just because you don't like her, that makes you believe this rumor? That's the way it comes across. Unless Wendy has threatened you before or the mom has threatened you before with a shrine or something like that, then I could understand you saying, well, I believe it. You know what I mean? Anyways, so we have that scene with them, and of course, they're up to their... Robyn, before you could see sort of playing the middle, Robyn is no longer playing the middle. She's full on up Giselle's you-know-what. And she's just going to ride with that forever. All right? Candiace and her mom at home. I was actually happy when I literally heard Mama Dot just sort of not paying attention to the screen. And I was like, oh, Mama Dot, let me pay attention. I love the fact that we brought Mama Dot back to the show. And I know some of you don't like her, rightfully so. I get why. However, I have to say, Candiace's scenes are more interesting to me when it's her and her mom versus her and Chris, to be honest with you. Just saying. Just saying. And of course, Candiace's storyline this season is about her singing career and her tour. Sidebar, because you always have to start with something nice. Candiace, you did a really good job with that remake of the Vanderpump Rules new theme song. You know, the one from the commercial with the R&B. I want to know who does that. Anyways, Candiace did her own version. And that's what I always say about Candiace. I feel like sometimes her vocals can be inconsistent. Here I go. But no, sometimes they can be inconsistent and you're like, I don't love it. But then she has a moment like, oh no, I like her tone. I really do like Candiace's tone. And when she sang it and she's playing the piano, I was like, come on, Candiace, multi-talented. All right. But she did a good job with that. So she's talking about how her relationship with her mom is a little bit different now because now she's pursuing her career. Her mom sees all the things that she's doing. I think her mother also appreciates that Candiace got her master's degree and has this show and she's doing her music. Like she's got the education as her backup plan and she's pursuing and doing quite well independently with her music. All right, so her mom sees her a little bit differently. She's talking about the cost of touring and things like that as well. She's talking about her relationship with Chris and the rocky moments that they had was because he was working long hours, but now she's touring, so she's not really at home, so it's kind of hypocritical. But of course, this would not be a scene without Mama Dot talking about, so what's Chris doing as for work? She doesn't say it like that. I'm saying it directly. She doesn't say it directly. She's sort of like, so what's he been up to? And Candiace is like, he makes money. So we're going with the narrative that Chris is not making money. I know Chris has like some new seasons out. Chris does stuff on social media and classes. Like Chris is hustling. Like the hustle is not what it used to be when it comes to you having a regular job. I think he probably partly did that regular job and was working those hours to make her mom happy and the world happy so they can stop talking about him not having a job. I mean, if Candiace is happy with him, look, her relationship, the same way with Juan and Robyn. But at least I believe Candiace and Chris love each other and are actually sexually involved. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Yes, I'm still away. Stay tuned, okay? It's the holidays. I got people coming into town. I am busy in the month of December. I am just giving you all a heads up. But despite me being busy, go check my videos. Y'all still getting videos. I'm like, hold a minute. I got to go do a video. And I come back and I edit and do all the... And I'm dealing with tech issues still. Like, I don't get what it is. Like, when you move from your own studio and you try to do things, you upload and then there's errors. I'm like... And I'm like, what is going on between YouTube? Because I have a good computer. I don't know if it's the update. Look, y'all didn't come here for the complaints. But please understand the lengths that I'm going through to record and make this happen for you guys. I don't need you guys to give me praise for it, but I just want you to know what I'm going through in order to create the content. I helped decorate this tree though. Look, I've been decorating. I've been tizzing the season. You better be tizzing the season too. All right. Anyway, so they decide to talk about, and this is where Mama Dots comes out with her therapist hat, because she talks about Candiace and Robyn's issues, because as you know, they've had their issues. I think Robyn might be done with Candiace though, because you see how she was done with Dr. Wendy Acefo after she spoke about her relationship. I think she might be done with Candiace. But Robyn, I get it on some hand, but at the same time, I'm just like, but I love it that when Candiace says, do people lie? And her mom's like, yes, people do lie. But Candiace doesn't appreciate Robyn's hypocrisy, because Robyn in her face with Chris made it seem like she was supportive, that she believed her, but behind the scenes was lying about her own relationship and just sort of riding the fence with everyone else. Instead of saying, no, I don't believe this. This is not true. Can't be true. If anything, that would make me look at Gizelle very differently, but that's me anyways. Robyn will do what Robyn wants to do in regards to that. She decides to stay in this relationship with Juan, so I wouldn't be surprised if she would stay in a toxic friendship with Gizelle. Okay? All right, so Karen hosts Pickleball. So this is where we have a large cast this season. And poor Kiana, girl, like you're there, but you're not there. And I'm not going to hold it against you because it's editing and we have a large cast and there's a lot happening. But you seem cute, you seem like you'd be fun, but we can't get anything from you this season. And I wonder if they allowed Wendy to have another person on the cast as her friend because of the imbalance that's happening on this show. There's definite imbalance. And Ashley, you're trash. We need to give Ashley the same fever. Not in the comment section, because some of y'all are bullies on social media. That's not what I'm talking about. But when we talk about the show, we need to give her the same fever that we gave Gizelle, that we gave Robyn. Ashley doesn't realize the detriment of her drinking and making up this whole connotation that Nneka was saying things about Wendy being Osu. Like, that was so ignorant, but she has said so many ignorant things over the years. But recently, I just pointed out, if not the last recap, but the recap before, probably the recap before, that she was referred to Adriana from Real Housewives of Miami as Chiquita Banana. And I was like, what in the ignorant? Okay. Anyway, and saying that on national television, where in front of millions of people, even worse. But anyways, I don't know why I get on Ashley, because I didn't want to forget to talk about Ashley and how she is the root of the evil that's going on between Nneka and Wendy. However, Nneka, you did not make it any better because you brought the rumor about the shrines and things like that to Robyn. All right? Anyways, so the groups are coming together. Everyone's coming in. Karen is loving Gizelle. She's like, I'm really liking you right now. It must be this new man. Karen is TV gold. I understand why Megan Thee Stallion says Karen is the queen of Potomac. Get it. Get into it. Because Karen, especially this season, she's bridging the gap between the separated groups, but she's also providing so much incredible, funny commentary. Yes, we're not getting into Karen's life or what's going on with Karen, because what's Karen's storyline? I don't care. Karen, not every season does anyone need to have a storyline. You just need to be funny and interesting. And to be honest with you, she is the queen of Potomac. What is Gizelle bringing this season? I saw a random tweet where someone says, oh, you see how Giselle's not getting involved and being messy this season, and this is a terrible season? If you have to ruin families in order to create interesting television, you're not an interesting person. You are a terrible human being. Like, I don't feel like you need to ruin people's families and lives and create lies in order to be an interesting reality star. Case in point, Karen Huger. Just saying. In my opinion, you know, I'm a little biased because she's a Taurus, but you also know I don't ride with all the Tauruses on reality television. Hey, Teresa Giudice. Hey, Alexia. Anyways, so Karen for me though is so funny. She's hosting this pickleball situation. She's providing the funny in so many different ways. She's saying she's enjoying Gizelle and the fact that, oh, maybe it's this new guy, Jason. They talked about Jason a couple of times. Like at the scene with Gizelle and Robyn, they were talking about the waiters. Like, you think he's younger than Jason? That's not a real relationship. Gizelle is saying it's not a real relationship. It's more a situationship. I don't think it's that either, to be honest with you. But Karen, they did a lot of flashbacks this episode. Did you guys notice that? That's never a good sign. I'm sorry, Potomac producers and editors. All these flashbacks says to me that y'all didn't have enough for the episode. But I appreciate the flashbacks because they give us a little reminder of the hypocrisy and the lies and because they flash back to the reunion at one point between Mia and Dr. Wendy, and I was just like, This is a long flashback back to Karen. So Karen says she's enjoying Gizelle this season, but she's like, where's Jason? We had Jamal in the phone. Sidebar, did you guys see the new rumor about Jamal? Okay. That's gonna have to be a separate thing. I mean, he's been trash. Y'all love Jamal because he's a good orator. He's still trash. Anyways. Um so she says, she referred back to Jamal being in the phone, and then she was like, so is Jason in outer space? Because he's not coming around the group because it's not a real relationship, but he's enough to bring on the show. So she has a little bit of a storyline. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Not really. I'm just tired of them. Okay. Anyways, so she talks about that. Gizelle and Candiace, they are completely avoiding each other. I don't think we've ever really seen something like this on Real Housewives, where housewives are not able to interact. Like, they are able to be in the same place at the same time, but they're not interacting. And I'm guessing we're probably going to see that on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Sidebar. I know that Jackie is now become friends with Teresa and Jennifer Aiden. And here's the thing. I'm not going to judge Jackie or that friendship as being fake until I see it play out. Because maybe it will make sense to me. I mean, I've watched them for years and it doesn't make sense. But we shall see. Like, I'm not going to hold Jackie to, I'm not going to hold anything against Jackie. I want to see how it plays out and how they navigate becoming friends. Maybe it will feel real and natural to me. I'm going to remain open. What about you? All right. Guys, it is the holidays and new merch is now available on houseofthekempire.com, including some Christmas sweaters. We got some Christmas merch for you guys. If you notice, our thumbnails have been updated as well. Head on over to houseofthekempire.com for more details on how you can get a Christmas sweater. It is Cyber Monday. So be sure to use the Black Friday discount code for 25% off of your order. More information on our merch, our P.O. Box, our CAMEO, everything is available in the description of this video. All right. And of course, shout out to all of you that send in super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps. All of that helps support the channel so we can figure out what the glitches are in regards to this editing. All of that helps promote us as content creators, that we don't have to rely on ad revenue and things like that. So shout out to all of you that support us any way that you can, but you can also support us by liking the video. Have you liked the video yet? Thanks. All right. So let's get back to this pickleball situation. So Gizelle and Candiace don't see it for each other. They'll never see it for each other. They're in their confessionals. Candiace is like, I don't see it for her. And they flash back to the reunion, what Candiace said about Gizelle. Giselle's like, I don't see it for her. We will never be. I don't know if she ever said never, but I feel like they will never see it for each other. And I mean, based off of the receipts that were shown in this episode, I can see why. Like, I can see why. But it's kind of like weird. Like, how are we going to move forward if we're not even able to interact? And I mean, I can't blame Candiace. And I can't even blame Gizelle when you talk about my dwindling uterus. I mean, I can't. I mean, that would hurt my feelings. If someone told me I had a dwindling uterus, I don't even have a uterus. Okay. But I also would be mad at you too. You trying to ruin my marriage and accuse my husband of something that you know didn't happen. All right. Just saying. All right. So all the husbands are interacting. Even the interaction between Dr. Wendy Acefo and Nneka is weird. It's awkward. You can already tell there's issues, even though they don't know each other. But of course, at this point, Dr. Wendy has heard that this woman has been saying things about her. All right. Even though Ashley cleared it up. All right. I wonder how Wendy felt, though, like Ashley clearing it up. But I think Wendy's reaction to Nneka had more to do with, because I do believe that there is drama between the families that was happening offline. I don't think Nneka was lying about that. I don't. I do believe that there was some offline drama. What about you guys? I definitely believe it was offline drama. All right. All right. So, what else did I want to talk about before I move? Oh, so Robyn. What the hell was Robyn wearing? And shout out to Karen again, because Robyn's like, first of all, I don't know what Robyn decided to wear because everyone was wearing, I don't know what you wear to pickleball, but something sporty. But what you could see like skin and like it's underwear, like she was going to perform. It was weird. It was weird. So Juan is showing up. Juan is showing up this season, and Juan will be at the reunion if the husbands are at the reunion this season. He's not working. Shout out to Mia for pointing that out. He's not working. They need this check more than ever. More than ever. So, anyone ever find the wedding license? Well, no, I'm not sure if I even believe that this is a real marriage. Anyways. So Juan's there, so is surprised. Everyone's reacting. They play pickleball. Who cares? Pickleball is like really popular now. I don't care. I don't want to play. I much rather play tennis. That's just me though. But anyways, so Karen decides to open it up. Everyone gets together, and she's just like, "Well, Robyn and I, we're not necessarily in a good place." And Rob's like, "Why are you talking about me?" Juan Anger Management, that's what I'm gonna call him now. Juan Anger Management Dixon. He's just like, "I'm not doing this," and walks away. I don't feel like what Karen was saying would warrant you, Juan, walking away. First of all, she didn't even mention your name. She was talking about her issues with Robyn, but you probably thought something was going to come up about you. So you're like, let me get out of here. And so instead of answering for your bad behavior, fine. But it felt like, again, there you go, leaving Robyn to the wolves. Never supporting her, never having her back. But okay, Robyn, you like it, we love it. So he immediately runs off. Then it just leads into the whole Wendy and Nneka conversation. Ashley's like, well, I had made a mistake about what I said. And Nneka says, well, we don't know each other to have an issue. And literally, Wendy's in the middle of saying the same, like, we don't know each other. And then she's like, yeah, to have an issue. And she's like, oh, so you're going to repeat what I'm saying? Nneka, that was giving passive aggressive for no reason. Like, it didn't have to even go there because she literally was saying the same thing as you. Like, yeah, we don't really know each other to have an issue, which was a segue for Nneka to bring up the shrine conversation. Production, you have failed us in this regard because I do feel as if we have to remember this is a work environment. And I feel like this whole issue, this whole drama that's being created, partially, I do believe there's some outside drama between the families. I just feel like on some level it doesn't read well, especially when this cast has been accused of bullying, mean girl behavior, and colorism. It doesn't read well because a lot of people have been saying, oh, so they brought Nneka on, a dark-skinned woman, to come at Dr. Wendy Asefo. Is that what we're doing? And I told you, and sidebar, Nneka released a statement that her publicist, I don't remember what she said, but basically she has a publicist, and some of you were saying, girl, you got a publicist after 2 episodes? Well, that she's the one controlling her tweets and things like that, and she's not trying to do damage control. Girl, the streets have been talking. The streets have been talking when I didn't even expect it. I told you guys I was live on TikTok and we were talking about something completely different. We weren't even talking about Real Housewives or Potomac. And someone came in trying to say, well, Nneka will be redeemed this season. Nneka has receipts. And I was like, why are we talking about Nneka? It was so random. Not to say that Nneka sent that person. But then I was hearing from other people that there are things happening behind the scenes. All right? There are things happening behind the scenes. People on social media are being contacted about tweets and, Nneka, there's a lot of stuff happening. I don't know why. Nneka, I get it. And this is probably part of the reason why Dr. Wendy Asefo did not want you using her name, because she probably felt like you were desperate to come on the show and you were using her name like you guys knew each other. Because I probably wouldn't like that either if someone that I'm not friends with or even know like that, I just know of, and they were like, yeah, I know Kempire. Someone did that before a few months ago. They're like, oh yeah, my cousin dated Kempire. I can count on one hand the amount of people can say that I have officially dated. If we went on 1 date, 2 dates, dated for a month, I don't know if that makes us official unless we even said it. So I I can see where Wendy would be like, you're a little bit of a clout chaser. Like you're trying to associate yourself, probably telling producers, telling people around town so that you can get on this show. And it worked for you because maybe the production and maybe the Green Eyed Bandits wanted to use you as a way of coming at Dr. Wendy Assefa because they feel as if they do it this season, it's not going to be, it's not going to bode well for them because it hasn't. It hasn't boded well for them. But you have to remember the audience is not stupid. The audience is not stupid. The audience is not dumb. All right. So Dr. Wendy Assefa and Nneka go back and forth, and it gets really heated between the two of them. And Nneka brings up the fact that your mom is putting my name in shrines. Your sister, and then Dr. Wendy Assefa. Well, you first said it was me. You first said it was me. You can clearly see that Wendy doesn't want to get into it. I don't know what it is. I told you before, it felt weird that from episode 1 that we were seeing Dr. Wendy talk more about her religion and things like that. And nothing's wrong with that. It just felt like, oh, this is interesting timing. And I'm not saying that Dr. Wendy's family is Osu or involved in voodoo or anything like that. But I felt like maybe production kind of gave her a heads up that this was being said. So she felt like she had to bring up like, no, I'm Christian and da da da. Anyways, so yeah. So she brings that up. Nneka brings that up, and that leads to Dr. Wendy not wanting to talk about it and just basically saying like, I don't know what you're talking about. You first said it was me. Now you're saying it's my sister. And Candiace, the voice of reason, who would have thought, says to her, well, you can't hold Wendy responsible for something that her mom and sister may have said, which I can agree with. Doesn't make it right what they said, but she didn't say it. So why are you holding that against her? And why not come to her? But instead you've gone to people that are her ops. Maybe. Who knows? Anyways. All right. So they're getting into it. And then at one point, Wendy's is like, you know what? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Mia. So, of course, people are like, Robyn's like, well, everyone, you're watching. This is Professor Wendy Deflection 101. You should know, Robyn. You should know Deflection 101, Lying 101, Cheating 101, Delusional 101, Embezzled 101. All right. So Wendy has this conversation with Mia, and I will say this about Dr. Wendy that I don't appreciate is it does come across fake. It does come across ingenuine. It does come across as a deflection because now all of a sudden you want to have a conversation with Mia. It was just weird. It was weird. It gets even weirder because as they have their conversation, for rewind. What I also didn't appreciate about Nneka was her calling Dr. Wendy the B word in their back and forth. Just because Dr. Wendy used a cuss word in her conversation with you, she wasn't calling you a name. I didn't love that. Anyways, so the husbands get involved because Ike brings up the fact that Eddie unfollowed him on Facebook. So Eddie's like, I don't even know you. I was introduced to you today. I unfollowed you on Facebook. So they go and they have a conversation about it. But Ike gets real hot and heated. Almost Juan Dixon, anger management, hot and heated. So he gets heated about, so you telling me that you didn't follow me on social media? Here's the thing. As I said before, during this back and forth between Eddie and Ike, it wasn't as if Ike was saying, you know me, we've hung out, we went to school together, we had classes together. Y'all were Facebook friends. Facebook friends, especially in this day and age, ain't real. Especially because I'm sure also within the community, the Nigerian community, there's probably plenty of Nigerians and people that went to the same school that are friends with each other. But not necessarily. Look, there are some people that I actually know on Facebook that I wouldn't consider friends, but I went to school with them. But let me tell you something else. If your wife, and I heard from someone else that your wife was first of all, using my name, talking about my mom using shrines, being Osu and voodoo and all this other stuff, I'm unfollowing you. And it won't take my wife or my partner to tell me to unfollow you. I'm unfollowing you. Like, I don't need you to know anything that's going on my Facebook or my life. So I just wish Happy Eddie stood 10 toes down. Yeah, I unfollowed you. I heard you heard your wife was talking mess about my wife. So of course I'm going to unfollow you. But some might say the husbands don't get involved. You unfollowing him makes the husbands get involved. But someone unfollowing you, who cares? I'm sure there are plenty of you that unfollow me all the time. You follow me, they unfollow me. I just don't notice because I don't care. Because that's what it is. That's why you don't see me necessarily report on when these folks are unfollowing each other on social media, because I feel like it's so petty. And someone just asked me the other day, should I unfollow this person? I said, no, don't unfollow them, especially when you have a mute button. Mute. Yeah. There's certain people if I unfollow you, it's because I am truly done with you. If I had followed you and I think that there's a possibility of peace in the future, or I'm not at that space, I'll just put you on mute. But if I unfollow you, that means I am truly done with you. Done. Anyways, sounds personal. Anyways, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. How would you rate this episode from 1 to 10? I'd probably give it an 8. I don't think it was bad, but I also don't like the direction where it's going. So I'm like a 7.5. Not necessarily 8. I think an 8 was giving it a little too much. Maybe a 7. Oh, excuse me. It's getting lower and lower. How would you guys rate the episode for 1 to 10? Be sure to let us know. Replay crew, we haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate the episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, and what you thought about the episode and what I've said about the episode. These are my fresh thoughts after just watching it. And I'm sure I probably will have more thoughts later. All right? Do you think that Nneka's a good addition to the group? What do you think needs to happen next season? I know it's too early to talk about next season, but we got a large cast, but very uneven in regards to who's getting along with whom. I saw Karen's friend there, and we always see her in the Potomac streets. I hear that she's very connected in the Potomac streets, so I thought it was so interesting to see her filming. So I wonder if we will see more of her in the future. You know, the black lady with the blonde hair. I know you're probably like, Kempire, there were plenty of black women with blonde hair. The one that's not a part of the cast. Anyways, all right. What else did I want to say about this? So Eddie and I get into it about the unfollowing. I don't care. I think it's so immature. I just wish Eddie would have owned it. Yeah, I unfollowed you. Your wife is talking trash about my wife. I unfollowed you. Case closed. I don't know you like that. You were friends because the Nigerian community is small and we went to the same school, but we don't know each other. Like, this is my first time actually meeting you and hanging out with you. Just saying. Anyways, so my advice to you guys, just own it. Just own it. So, of course, the evil spirits knock over the the food and start a fire. Evil spirits being Juan, anger management Dixon. They're playing the game. He knocks the food over. All right. But did you guys see? You could tell Juan loves him some Karen, because as soon as Karen came to him and she was joking with him, it's like, you knocked my food over, Juan. And he was just like, oh, I'm sorry. You can see Karen was kind of hesitant. You would think that he would be a little bit more like, like, I'm so sorry, because, she accused him of, hugging her a little too tightly before. So you could tell that, and I can appreciate that they just want to make peace and move on. I don't think that they will ever, at least Karen and Robyn. I think Karen and Juan are good. I think Juan is good with everyone else. Robyn, not so much. The preview for next week, it's interesting. I guess we're going to see Robyn on the curbside. I don't know if I believe Robyn's storyline this season. Her reaction, I'm sort of like, I have to watch it to see if it feels real, like the group is holding her accountable for Juan's actions. At this point, I'm already bored with the whole constantly talking about what Juan did last season and with the woman in Canada. The only time I'm even interested is when Karen makes a joke about it in her confessionals. I really don't care other than that. Robyn, you want to be in your bad marriage for life? Good for you. Get it off my show. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Just saying. It's the least interesting thing happening this season. Just saying. Guys, what is standing out to you? What are you appreciating about this season of The Real Housewives of Potomac? It's only 4 episodes in. I'm not saying there's a trash season. Some of you are already saying it's a trash season. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to hold out. Hopefully that we have more than the tribalism that's happening between Nneka and Dr. Wendy Acefo. Maybe we'll have a little bit more substance. I don't know. What I am appreciating so far, episode 4, Queen Karen, she's holding us down with the commentary and trying to bring the groups together. And I appreciate it. I appreciate Mia. I wonder if we will see the marriage trouble with Mia play out during the season, because that's about to be interesting. We shall see. Guys, I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you got some shopping in. I know I got a little bit in, not a lot. But it's the holiday season. So as always, I am tizzing the season while I'm away, but also creating content for you guys. So in light of that, be sure to like the video. You don't have to send super chats. You don't have to become a member. You don't have to do any of that. I appreciate all of the people that do, but I do want to say at least like the video and subscribe, because you don't rely on the algorithm. The algorithm is not your friend. Okay. Turn on those notifications so that you're notified of all the updates. We had quite a few updates in regards to Diddy over the weekend, so be sure to check that out and stay tuned for our Married to Medicine recap. That will come at some point this week. I'm not going to make any promises. I got a lot of things to get done this week, including decorating my own home. So no promises on when that will be. All right, so stay tuned. All right, we have a lot to catch up on. As always, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video, because sharing is definitely caring. Let me know your thoughts. Continue this conversation in the comment section. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day.